She called police concerned that someone was stalking her, and she ended up dating the officer who came to help.
The relationship cost that officer his job, but now the woman says investigators treated her more like a criminal than a victim. Tony Plahetsky is here with her exclusive story.
And Mike and Quita, officials say Officer Jordan Wagstaff violated several policies, starting with his decision to date a woman he met while taking her police report. But the woman says she felt victimized all over again when she walked into APD Internal Affairs in a case that led to the officer's firing. Jamie Mendoza was at her gym late last year when she called for a food delivery. Just days later, she started fearing for her life when police say the delivery driver, 37-year-old Alexandro Correa, began showing up unannounced, at one point interrupting a class and sending threatening text messages.
He wasn't violent, but I could see where his behaviors were starting to get violent.
Increasingly concerned, Mendoza called Austin police twice in December. After the second call, she met Officer Jordan Wagstaff, who came to take her report. The two soon started dating.
We'd swapped social media information. He had offered to kind of help me learn a little bit more about gun safety if I were to use, like any means of protection.
But that relationship led to an internal affairs investigation against Officer Wagstaff.
And then they proceeded to ask me a ton of private questions about my life.
Mendoza says she agreed to an interview with Internal Affairs. She feared that by refusing, it could impact the pending case against her alleged stalker.
They sat there twisting a lot of words, and I felt almost as if they had built a narrative around this situation that in my mind was purely innocent.
Last week, Police Chief Brian Manley fired Officer Wagstaff for several policy violations.
I felt highly manipulated, and like my privacy was, not worth anything to them, especially being a victim, already being a victim.
In a memo, Chief Manley said Officer Wagstaff should never have started a personal relationship with Mendoza until the criminal case against her accused stalker was over, which he says is a clear violation of APD policy. Mendoza says she is no longer dating Officer Wagstaff, but that the two do remain friends. APD says officials have reviewed Mendoza's recorded internal affairs interview, and they did deem it appropriate. Meanwhile, Officer Wagstaff is appealing his firing, and the union is standing behind him.